Hi there, this is Art and Such with my rainbow loom tutorial from Morticia Addams from the Addams family. This is to go with my Addams family set for Halloween. I'm using black bands for the dress and the hair, skin tone, pale skin tone for the face and the hands, although you can use grey or a white if you want to go for the black and white theme here. I'm using small pearl beads for the eyes with a black Sharpie pen to draw on the pupils. But you might wish to use small black beads or blue beads, or you can use bands if you don't have beads, but I would recommend against the black as it will blend in with the hair. We're going to start this on our hook. I have one arm handy, one arm made already. I'm going to show you how to make it, and then I'll get you to pause and make the second on your own. You're going to take a single skin tone band and wrap it 3 times. You can wrap it tighter if your band is stretched out. And we are going to do 6 sets of double black bands. So take 2 black bands, put them on the end of your hook and pull tight, and bring your wrapped skin tone over. Place the other end back on top. Get another 2 black bands on the end. Take your bands off of the hook, over, and put this back on. We'll do this another 4 times until we have a total of 6 sets. This will be our 3rd time, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Okay, pause for a minute and get a second arm ready. And then we can come to our loom here. It's in the offset position with the middle row just above the side two. We're going to come down with double skin tone bands from the top center to the second peg on the center. And we'll come down twice more with double skin tone. So this is 3 sets up all the way to the 4th peg down. From the second in the center, you'll take 2 skin tone bands and bring them down to the second on the right. And again from the second center, we'll come down with 2 skin tone bands to the second peg down on the left. And if you want your chest area to be a little bit broader here, this is optional. You can take another 2 sets of skin tones and bring them from the 3rd peg center to the 2nd pegs on the side. The rest of the loom we're going to fill in using double black bands all the way to the end. So you'll want to pause for a minute and get these on. We're starting at the top and going down double bands to the bottom. Once you've got that on, you can take your arms and place them on your 2nd pegs down on either side. Just slide the bands off of your hook and right onto that peg. We are going to put some cap bands on, and then we will make the little fringe for the bottom. Again, I'll be making one piece with you, and I'll have you stop to make some of the others. For our holding bands, we are using a single, stretching it from our 3rd peg to our 3rd peg, coming down on either side, and bringing it above the 3rd peg on the center. We are going to repeat that from the 4th to the 4th, bring it over the center. Now on the 5th and the 6th pegs down for these triangle bands, we are going to double the bands over, and you might even wish to try and do like a double and a half. And this gives it some shape around the waist here. It will tighten it in for us. We are going to come down with a couple more single triangle bands just stretched across. And the last 4, so one more here. The last 4 are going to be doubled over once more, and this will cinch it in for the bottom section. So the last 4 on the bottom will be doubled over bands stretched across in that same triangle formation. Stretch it out, turn it around, put one end over the other. And before we put the last one on, we're going to make our bottom pieces. so that we can fit those on. I used 5 on my original, but I'm only going to do 4 this time so it doesn't press out as much. You can still do 5 if you like. I have 3 ready. I'm going to make one with you, and then you can pause and make 3 or 4 more. That's at your discretion. We're going to take a single and wrap it 4 times till it's nice and tight. And we're going to pull it onto 6 doubled over single bands. So double one over, bring it on top. Take a second band, double it over, put it on the end of your hook, bring these all over, put it back, that's 2, 3, 4, and 5, and one more. We'll make 6. You can make these longer if you'd like. I wouldn't make them too much shorter though. You're going to take your 4 or 5 pieces and bring them together. And this is a little bit tricky. If you find this too difficult, you can use double bands, but I will be taking a single and doubling it over and bringing these on top. This is another reason why it's nice to have fewer pieces. So it's going to be very tight here. And we're going to put each end on to each of the corresponding bottom pegs here. Give it a little stretch. As I said, if you're having a lot of trouble, you can use a double band, so 2 bands together. And we are going to take this and sort of separate them, 2 on either side or 2 and 3, and bring the middle piece over the middle. Very tight, so just be careful. And then we can loop up our body. So I'm going to come under the center first. I'm going to take the bottom 2 bands, bring them up and over that second peg from the bottom, and I'm going to keep looping up until I reach the 3rd peg down from the top in the middle. And the reason for that is we'll need to get our sort of chest shoulder area straightened out before we start coming up the side. Okay, here you'll see there are 2 sets of double bands in the top here. We're going to find the first 2, and they are coming from the right side. I'm going to bring them back over onto the second peg from the top on the right. And the next 2 are going to come to the second from the top on the left. Let's press those down a little bit. And you can continue looping up one more time. I'm going to go up the side and then we'll come back and finish this section up. So let's go back to the bottom. And you'll pick a side and find the bottom 2 bands. Go under that triangle band and take your bottom 2 up and over your next peg. Push back, push your triangle band out of the way, get your bottom 2, loop them up. And we're just looking for these sets here. As they come from the pegs above, we'll be returning them to their proper place all the way up until we reach our arm peg. And be careful not to grab your triangle bands while you're doing this. On this last one here, you're going to have a lot of bands to contend with, but what we're looking for are the diagonal bands coming down from the second center. So pull those to the side if you need to, if it helps. And you're going to put your hook through with the open part facing in. Grab onto those bottom 2 bands and pull them up and over to the center. Let's go up the other side. Get under your first triangle band holding those hem pieces, the fringe, and we're just going to keep looping up. Once more, make sure to get under your triangle bands first as you go. We're going to go to the top again, Stop when we reach the arms. Come underneath and get your 2 diagonal bands. Bring those up and over into the center. And then we'll come back to that 3rd peg down and finish looping out the center chest area. And get your last 2, which are the neck bands. Sorry, I have to hold this here, it's a little bit loose, my loom. And carefully you'll want to remove some tension, loosen up some of these bands, especially where you have your doubles, and we will then take this off of the loom. You're going to keep these top, I should have said that first, you want to keep these top bands, skin tone bands, on your hook as you're removing this off. And I have a loose band, it seems I missed one of these. Okay, I'm going to just throw that on a C-clip for now. I clearly didn't grab that one when I was trying to. If you do have any loose bands, this is as good a time as any to tuck them in. You can weave them in or knot them in a little bit. Give your little leg pieces a bit of an adjustment. And then we'll come back to the loom and start getting our head in place. For our hair, we are using black bands, and we're going to come down from the top of the loom, once down diagonally, top peg to top peg. And in the other direction, we'll come down either side with 2 sets of double black bands. And then we'll be switching to our skin tone right away. With your skin tone bands, let's come down the center 3 times. With double bands. And try to get bands which aren't too stretched out. We're going to come from the 4th center to the 3rd on the right, and from the 4th center to the 3rd on the left. I'm going to try and keep these in order here so we can find them more easily to loop. We're going to take a single skin tone band and put it across here as a holding band. And let's make our eyes now before we start on our hair chains. So for the eyes, I'm using, as I said, a couple of small pearl beads. They have very small holes, so I'm going to use this trick I've seen on some of the other YouTubers do. We'll take a piece of dental floss and thread it through the holes of the beads. And we will thread this through a skin tone band. If you're using just bands or larger beads that you can put in a hook, you can put those onto a skin tone band at this point. We'll take the other end, which has gone through, turn it around, and we're going to put it back through the beads from the opposite direction. These beads I have very small holes, so you just have to bear with me for a minute. I could have got it ready in advance, but I thought you might like to see the procedure, the method here again, just in case you've forgotten or this is new to you. And if this is taking too long for you, you can always jump ahead in the video. I'll be right with you. There we go. Let's pull these on. And this is going to stretch from our 2nd peg down to our 2nd peg down. We'll get our fingers or our hook in between and pull one of these bands over the 2nd peg down in the middle. We can put, just to get this off our hook here, we can put our body on that 4th peg down in the middle, and I'm going to actually stretch it just below here so that it's easier to see these bands when we want to loop. But this is the peg you need it on. For the hair, I'm making 2 chains. One is going to be six sets long of 6 sets of doubles, and the other will be 8 sets long. But you can play around with those lengths if you have another preference. I'm going to just place these on, and then I'll show you how to go about making them yourself. I'll make the second set with you as well. So for the bottom set, we're going to take a single band, wrap it twice onto the hook, and pull it over 6 sets of double bands. So 2 bands here. We're bringing it on top, and we're going to do this 5 more times. This is our second set, our third set, fourth set, fifth set, and 6th set. And this goes on to that 3rd peg down on the side. You can pick your side. We'll make 1 for each. So you can pause now or when both have been complete to put that on. And let's make our chain for the 2nd peg down. That will be the same, but we're going to put 2 more sets so it's a little longer. So a single wrap twice. We're going to go bring it on to 8 sets of double bands. This is 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and this will go on to the 2nd peg down. So pause for a minute and make your chains for both sides. And then we can loop it up, and then we'll be almost done. We are going to get the top 2 bands from under our neck piece, or yes, our neck piece, and we're going to bring these back. Let's find where those came from. These are going to the left, and the next 2 are coming to the right. As you'll see in the other Rainbow Loom videos, what we're looking for is a nice teardrop shape. If it seems really twisted, then it's probably not quite right. We're going to loop up the middle to the top and push back the band which has the eyes on it when you're coming up. And then we're going to go on the side and get the bottom 2 bands, bring it through the others. You might want to pull this to the side or pull those bands out. We're getting the next 2 bottommost bands, and the last 2 bottommost bands are coming back to the top. We're going to repeat this on the right side now. Find your bottom 2 black bands and bring them up and over, and the next 2 black bands from the bottom, and find your last 2, bring them back to the center. Okay, let's get a single black, and we'll pull it up through the bands on your top center peg. So keep the open part of your hook away from you as you bring it through. Grab your band and bring it back. Oops, bring it right back up. You can put one end over the other, create a slip knot, and now we can take this off of the loom. So you'll see here, you are going to have some skin tone bands over your hair. You just want to pull your hair right through so that the hair is in front and the skin tone is on the back. We can hide our securing band in the back, and you can also grab any loose skin tone bands and tighten them now. So I'm going to come under my loose skin tones. They tend to get stretched out when I do this. I'm bringing my black band through, and I'm going to grab a couple of loose ones on the other side and bring my black band through again, but you could do this any way that works for you. We're going to put this on a C-clip and tuck it under another band so it doesn't jump around. Okay, we can stretch our arms under these skin tone bands here. You don't even have to do this because the hair is going to hide it really, but we'll make it a little bit cleaner. Let's draw on a couple of pupils. You can make eyelashes if you like. You can just do a couple of small dots. You can make a little eyelid, it's up to you. And as for the hair, if you would like, you can have both pieces in front or have it in the back or one over. If you want to secure it in any given place, what you can do is run your hook through the hair and through the body. Put a black band on, pull it through, and create a slip knot. You can hide this in the back. Or you can take your hook and run it through a band from each piece of your hair, and a piece of the body too if you want, and bring your band through, and that will hold the hair together. Or you can just leave it loose. I kind of like it loose. At any rate, there is your Morticia Addams, and I hope you've enjoyed. Please take some time, check out some of my other patterns. I have the rest of the Addams family either on or coming along, and lots more ideas to try out. Okay, thanks for watching.